Hi everyone, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads and welcome to my latest video. This one's going to be a bit of a catch up and a bit of a chat and yeah, a bit of a discussion, a few things I want to talk about and I thought it'd be a good way to start getting back into filming videos because my last video I filmed quite some time ago and I just haven't sat down and filmed a video in a while. I've changed my setup a bit because I'm still at my boyfriend's place because I don't think I can comfortably go back home yet, but I've just readjusted so some of my books are here. And one thing I just want to talk about is one of my oldest friends, Megan. She runs a art business and she I basically bought this print and it's in a lovely rose gold pinky, is it pinky or rose gold? It's in like a pink shimmer colour and it's very lovely and I want to have it in the background of my videos, especially when I am back home and I've got it framed behind me. For now we're just sort of resting it here as nice background viewing, but it'll do for now. I'll link her channel and her Etsy shop down below. She's amazing, and her Facebook page actually, because she's quite active. I'll link all her ways to contact her below because she does amazing things, and yeah, she's really good. And her TikToks of her making these things are great as well. Yeah, those are pretty good. Whatever. So this started I'm going to hold my iPad here because I've made a few notes when this first started, and it was a few weeks ago, and I was reading The Lies of Locke Lamora, and I had been doing a trying to read 24 hours as quickly as possible type of video, and that went a bit south when I was supposed to see a co-worker because I'm going back into work on Thursdays now, which is good. It gives me a little bit of like that socialness that I buzz off, but it's really safe and clean and everything's really social distance, but I'm still working from home most of the time, so I am still doing a lot of reading, a lot of audiobook listening to. But I was reading The Lies of Locke Lamora by Lynch, and I started reading it like 4 or 5 weeks before I actually finished it. I read the first bit and then didn't come back to it, and then I emailed my co-worker saying, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Think we've got lots to discuss, and this book is one I think you'll like. I'm 100 pages from the end. And he responded saying, did you hear about what happened with Lynch? And I said no, and then I looked up on Twitter and then instantly thought, fuck, what the fuck, that's disgusting. I'll link the original Twitter thread, but essentially a young author, or an author who when she was young said that Lynch and his wife groomed her into a relationship, a polyamorous relationship in which the power dynamics weren't equal and she was very much exploited in this situation. And I just felt so sick when reading it. And then afterwards, when I then was trying to finish the book, because I had previously been enjoying it, my only qualms were that there weren't enough women, which is a big one, but you know, I was still enjoying it, and I was like, oh, I really love these books. But I just completely this wasn't on my radar. I mustn't have looked on Twitter when this was going off. I just missed the news and on it, and I just felt like the last 100 pages were really tainted for me. I didn't end up enjoying it as much as I thought I would. And at the moment when I first read this, I was like, I just can't finish it, and it took me a little while to go back and finish it properly. But I just felt like I couldn't separate those conversations, and I know author separation is something that we often say we can try and do, or should be a good thing, or isn't always a good thing. It depends on case by case basis. But since then I have heard that you can sort of see some of the treatment of women within some of his books, and I think I just felt a bit, it gave me the ick about it, to be honest. I don't know what everyone else I might, you know, thinks on that. Like, for example, Thoughts on Times, who I remember getting this recommendation from her. I wonder if she still, how she feels about it, obviously having read the series. But it kind of links to discussions of J.K. Rowling and how I've been so disgusted by the things that she has said and the things that she is trying to convey on the internet, and the way she puts across her message, and just everything she does at the moment is just sickening me. And I don't want to associate my identity with her. However, I associate Harry Potter as a huge part of my identity and a huge part of my reading background, my history. I've got so many connections with people based on Harry Potter, and so many references, and I kind of felt like this had been tainted by her work, by her words, and how her words have hurt such a marginalised group of people. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to support that. But I think this is a bit slightly different in the sense that I already have supported it. I have already bought all of the books. I have already bought all of the media. So if I want to consume the media in my own home, I don't know. I don't know what would happen. I don't know how I would feel about it. I haven't done it yet. I haven't really engaged much with Harry Potter as a world since this has happened. I recently reread all the books, so that's not. I recently rewatched all the films. The only thing I know that I have done is I've played the Harry Potter board game that I have, because I do really enjoy it. But I do tend to feel like that we were kind of in the middle of it anyway. I don't know. And I know that everyone's saying, at what point does Harry Potter become ours? And I knew that there were moments that were very flawed within the series. And I know that there are things that I don't agree with in the series anyway. There are things where I'm like, this isn't my Harry Potter. The Cursed Child is not my canon, even though the play I thought was a brilliant work of art, a brilliant theatre production, but I didn't like the story. The story wasn't for me, but that's not the production and the acting. I was very, I've always felt a bit, there's some certain amount of disconnect between what JK thinks and what I think and how it is, but I feel like it exists in my mind, and I feel like it's going to take some years to replace it. I idolised her for years, and now she's spreading her hate speech like Marmite, which I detest, over the internet. And it's just, Marmite's probably the wrong thing, like shit over the internet is probably a better description of it, but I just fucking am so angry about it. But I know that the hurt wasn't directed towards me, and it's not my time, and this is others' time to tell JK to do the big old fuck you. Yeah, so I've basically decided to not purchase actively from either of these authors anymore, and any authors that I find to be horrific. If there's something I desperately want to read, I will go out of my way to purchase from a charity shop. I don't think there will be. I'm reevaluating things, obviously, but if there's ever a time when something I need to read, I will try and purchase it secondhand and donate the RRP to the appropriate charities in which this author is affected. I think that's the only way I can see moving forwards. But also, one thing I will just say here is that I will be doing the newts next month, or when you see it will be this month. However, I will not be naming any titles like newts, TBR, newts, anything, because I know G from Book Roast has left it very low key, and she's just doing it for completion, and that's how I feel. I love the readathon and I like the structure that it's brought to my reading. I'm just not seeing it as a a Harry Potter thing. I'm not thinking about the classes, I'm not thinking about the teachers, I'm just thinking of like boxes to tick, if that makes sense. Sort of renaming them in my head. So that's something that I have been working towards. That will be coming, that TBR is coming, and yeah, that's what's going on with that. But I won't be doing any public, I will say, like in my TBR video for next month, I will say what the prompts are for, but I probably won't like, I won't go on about it too much. However, there is one thing that I feel like I need to do. I feel like I need to read more actively, or continue with my active reading. So I feel like I don't need to lean on authors that are problematic or disgusting as a crutch. So, for example, replace my reading of Harry Potter with something more actively diverse or actively just wonderful, and from people that do not do things like this. I've been taking baby steps each year as I've been getting older into diversifying my reading and becoming a better reader and reading more widely and more countries and more authors and everything like that. But it's just been very baby steps. Sorry, I've got a lot of notes, much more than I normally read. But now it's time to amp this up. I can see how unacceptable it is to say sort of, I'm going to read more diversity, and then not do it, because it's just shit. It's just like the reading rush, but on a personal level, because obviously I'm not the reading rush. No one's holding me accountable to these things but me, and that's why I need to do better over here on this channel. I've made improvements on my reading back authors. I read a lot in May. I've read so much. Anything else was sort of really turning me off because I was very zoned in at that point, and I have noticed an increase, but the numbers aren't stacking up just yet because of my bad start to the year with lack of diverse reading. But yeah, they're stacking up. I'm currently working on reducing my physical books and replacing my white US UK centric TBR with a wider range, whilst trying to do a one in one out process with saving money as well. So I'm trying to save to move out and buy a house. So I don't want to do too much buying of books, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to diversify my TBR, because I do 100%. I want to make sure every book that's coming in is within those parameters of boosting the TBR that are coming into my shelf. So there's so many books out there that I want that are diverse. I just don't own them yet, and I feel if they were owned and on my shelves, then that would boost it. But also I'm reading a lot on Scribd and Audible and Kindle, things like that. I'm all reading more of those. It balances it there, but I want my shelves to be reflective of my reading. So that's where we're at with the TBR process. And sorry about the light that's flashing up right now. I'm trying to get onto my iPad. And I'm trying to talk about this more on YouTube and open myself up to you guys as an audience, because I love making videos, and I loved it. That period of lockdown when I was so into filming, I felt so proud, and I felt like I'd done such an achievement, because I was just sticking to it and sticking to it and sticking to it, and then I fell off the wagon. At first I didn't post throughout June because I was I didn't want to drown the silence of Black voices, and I felt like I needed to do more personally and within, and that was something I was working on. And then once I'd stopped, I couldn't bring myself to get started again, and this was completely beside the movement. It was just my personal, like, I feel like when I keep going, I get better, and I am more likely to carry on. But when I stop, then it becomes really hard. I feel that way about exercising. I don't know if it's a personality trait, just realising things about myself now. And I knew that I didn't need to educate myself on why racism was wrong. I knew that already. but I needed to educate myself on what was stopping me from doing more than I already was, which I previously mentioned. And this is something I want to continue talking about. I want to continue talking about these slightly deeper things, and the reason I've got this all written down is because I tried to film a few videos during the initial resurgence of Black Lives Matter with the horrific deaths that had happened, and I think I found it harder to talk about because I wasn't used to talking about things like this on this channel. I'm very not materialistic, but like very just talk about chilled out things. I can't think of the word right now. There's a word for it, but it's not there. It's not in my head. And I found it a bit difficult, so I've written a lot of notes for this because I think it's easier for me to structure a conversation this way instead of chatting shit and not getting my point across. I think that moving forwards, there's a lot I want to do on this channel. There's a lot I want to do personally as a hobby, and there's lots of creators that I love to watch, and there's just so much out there that I love. But I want this to come back, and this is me coming back again, and I've got lots of video ideas coming up. I've just in this coming weeks, we've got this video, we're going to have a TBR for next month, we're going to have I've got a video series idea, and I think I might film the intro to that now in a minute, and yeah, I think I'm going to try it. It's going to be interesting, but yeah. And then obviously the wrap up, and then yeah, I've got some ideas, and yeah, so we'll see. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you fancy chatting to me in the comments, just let me know, and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.